Hey guys, welcome back to Neely by Nature. My name is Neely. If you are new to my channel, this channel is dedicated to talking about spirituality, mental health, law of attraction, social issues, international news, and also my personal journey, kind of finding my own purpose and finding my own contribution to the world. So if you are interested in any of those topics, please remember to hit the subscribe button and support your girl. Comment below. I love hearing from you guys. And thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. So let's just get right into today's video. So I just came back from like a 3-month sabbatical in Costa Rica. And I had like the most amazing experience there. I was living in an eco village and also a spiritual community, and kind of really immersed myself into self-healing, self-development, trying plant medicines, and just like being in this community. Like I was on this high, you know, I was like on this really good place. And then I came to New York, and it's been 3 weeks since I've been back. And since I've been back, I feel like everyone's just like, what are you gonna do for money? The job market's hot. Do you want a job? The price of everything is rising. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do for money? There's about to be an apocalypse. Oh my God, what are you gonna do for money? What are you gonna do for money? What are you gonna do for money? The job market's hot right now. They're hiring. You should totally get a job right now. And so that's pretty much how my 3 weeks back in New York City has been going. And I find myself having to reassure and comfort everyone who is bombarding me with questions about my future that it's going to be okay and that I'm going to figure it out. Just simply me saying that I'm going to figure it out and I don't have a plan, I think it's so triggering for people. And I realize I'm also feeling their fear. And then suddenly I have this pressure like, oh my God, what am I doing? Like maybe I should get a job if the job market's hot. And you know, I look at my email inbox and there's a ton of emails from recruiters who are looking to hire me, and you know, they're throwing these really high salary numbers at me, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's like kind of like a crisis of consciousness. Before I left Costa Rica, I felt really good, you know, I felt like I knew what I wanted to do, and that I really just felt a sense of trust with the universe, and complete trust, like literally this complete surrender into the universe. And it was something that I've never felt before because I've always been a very anxious personality. So for me to get to this place of like total surrender, total peace, total trust was like my biggest goal. So being dropped back into New York City, and then everyone's asking me these questions about the future, and I'm starting to feel this fear and this pressure to like get a job, I realized I had to kind of take a moment to step back, and I realized like everyone's just projecting onto me their fears about the future and their fears in general because of their own set of self-belief. So everyone has their own self-belief system about what's right and what's wrong and like how to live life. And so when they see someone in their lives doing something that's so unconventional, so outside the norm, it's really triggering. Coming to New York City, I realized like people in America, we really seek comfort and safety more than the outside world. I was living in Costa Rica for 3 months, and just talking to different travelers and just the people in Costa Rica, like the Costa Rican people. And I was also in Mexico City. I realized people weren't as afraid as Americans are. And I found that really interesting for the simple reason that we in America have the most of everything. So to come to America and see people afraid of money and not having things, it's a bit shocking because I just came from a country where people are extreme minimalists and they're happy and they don't have a lot of money. They don't have nearly as much money as the average American here in America, but they're so much more peaceful, so much more content. I found that a bit concerning because why is it that here in America, land of opportunities, why are we so fearful of the unknown? And so I really wanted to create this video and just discuss the topic of reinventing yourself. Just letting people know that it's okay to reinvent yourself no matter where you are in life. If you start to fall out of love with who you are, it's okay to make the choice in changing and making drastic changes in your life, whether that's career, whether that's removing friends of your life, whether it's changing your interests, your hobbies, your diet, whatever it is, it's okay to do that. I think that people in America are so programmed to seek safety and comfort that when we do things that are like reinvent ourselves, it almost like triggers our entire body, right? And in our entire body and the people around us, because you're no longer in a system that's predictable. You're no longer part of this everyday routine. You're plugging out of this program, and you're choosing to do something that's so completely different from what most people in your life would never do. And sometimes in the process of changing yourself and reinventing yourself, you're going to lose things. You're going to lose a job. You're going to lose friends. You're going to lose, hobbies and interests, whatever it is. You're going to lose something because you're gaining something new. And that's really frightening for us. It was frightening for me when I decided that I didn't want to be an executive assistant anymore, and that I wanted to find my purpose. I wanted to find my contribution to the world. I wanted to do something different. I wanted to use my creativity. Immediately after I made that decision, I fell into a series of self-doubt scenarios, right? Where I was just doubting myself over and over again. No matter what, I knew that going back to my own life would have been more fearful than actually going out and trying something new. I would be more depressed than to actually fail. And that's when I decided that I wanted to make a change in my life. I think that as human beings, we're more afraid of change and of the unknown. And we should actually be more afraid of what is known. We should be more afraid of living in what's predictable. Can you predict your future? Are you living in a routine? Because it's really living in the uncomfort and in the unknown and in uncertainty that challenges arise. And that's where you're going to get the most growth in your life. That's where you're going to change the most. That's where you're going to evolve the most. And we should seek to continue to evolve. We shouldn't be seeking constant security. We shouldn't be seeking constant safety. That's not the point of life. The point of life isn't to consistently seek safety and security. I even realized coming back home to New York City, like, this is my safety. This is my security, my home, my family. This is what makes me feel secure and safe. But I also realized that I'm not going to evolve here. And so I know that in the next few weeks, I'll be ready to leave again and really push myself even further. People want change and growth that they can control. So for example, you are a manager and you want to be director. Climbing the corporate ladder is very linear, and there is a set of steps that we know we have to take. You take a few courses, you get trained, you develop a project, you get interviewed, whatever it is. There are certain steps that we can take to kind of get to that director level that we want to get to. And so this is change and growth that is completely up to us. Like, we can control this. However, there is a certain level of fear that we have of completely letting go and trusting the universe and trusting God and trusting the process and allowing for things to fall together for us, because we think that if we're not controlling every step of our lives, then we'll fail, and we can't handle failure. We cannot afford to fail. And so we do everything in our power to ensure our safety and security. How can I ensure that my next move is safe? I feel like right now, women my age are all getting married and having kids and starting their lives. And a few years ago, I felt this sense of pressure too, because this was sort of the path. You graduate college, you get a good job, you meet a man, you get married, you start a life, you buy a house, and that's pretty much the trajectory of the average woman's life. I thought that would be my path as well, until a few years ago, maybe 2-3 years ago, I realized that that's not what I want for myself right now. And marriage is hard, and having kids is hard, and it's a lot of self-sacrifice, especially on a woman. And sometimes the mother in a family dynamic, she's often not appreciated, and that's just kind of the burden that women have to bear. I realized that I didn't want to do that right now. I didn't want to feel those emotions right now. I didn't want to give so unconditionally right now. I know that maybe sometime in the future that would be what I want to do. However, right now in my life, it's really important for me to see my fullest potential, for me to truly see what I can create, what my contribution to this world can be. This is the most selfish I can be right now, is when I have no commitments and no responsibilities to anyone else right now but me. And so I saw this as an opportunity for me to be all in and to really take this risk on myself. For a long time, I really wanted to reinvent myself, like completely change my life. But I was so comfortable in being an executive assistant. I was so comfortable with having a salary and knowing when I was going to get paid and knowing where I was going to go in life. And so I kind of repressed this feeling of wanting to reinvent myself, of wanting to try something new, of wanting to take a risk on myself, until the universe actually changed my life for me. I lost my job in 2020 because of the pandemic, and I had all this time to ask myself, like, what do I really want for myself? And I think sometimes when we ignore the emotions we feel, the universe kind of then throws us into these really difficult challenges, and sometimes it feels like you're drowning, and that's when you have to learn to swim, and you will find a way to swim one way or another. Reinventing yourself isn't changing your style and, changing the way you look and your wardrobe. Maybe sometimes things like that can come out of it. Like, for example, the more in tune you become with nature, you want to be more respectful of this planet, and so you change the way you shop. That's definitely changing for me, like just shopping way less, coming back to New York and just being surrounded by my things. I realized, like, I have so much clothing and it's a bit sickening for me, and I realized, like, I was consuming so much. And so naturally, because I've had this experience, I decided I wanted to consume a lot less, not buy so much clothing and not take up so much when I don't really need it. Reinventing yourself isn't about externally changing yourself. It's about changing the inside. It's about changing your thought process. It's about changing, your interaction. How are you communicating with others? Are you compassionate? Are you compassionate with yourself? Are you compassionate with others? Naturally, there will be a point in your process of reinventing yourself that you're going to have to let go. And that's the part that's really scary for us. It's the letting go in reinventing ourselves that makes people kind of push away from actually taking that risk and reinventing themselves. It doesn't matter where you are in life. If you feel the desire to change and want to reinvent yourself, flow with it and allow yourself to be able to reinvent yourself. Like I talked about how right now I didn't want to become a mom and I didn't want to get married right now because right now I have the opportunity to be really selfish. But that doesn't mean that if you are a mom that you can't reinvent yourself. You absolutely can. I hope no one took that the wrong way and feel like, oh, once I become a mom, I can't change and stuff. And it's like moms change a lot too, of course. But there's a lot more that you have to take into account. But if you feel the call to want to reinvent yourself and change the way you're living because you're no longer happy with the life you're living, you should totally go for that. You shouldn't suppress that. You shouldn't ignore those feelings. You should embrace those feelings and allow yourself to be curious. Be curious with who it is you want to be. Be curious of what is making you happy. What is bringing you joy right now? Focus on that. Don't think too much about controlling that situation. Just allow it to flow and like go with it. See how it's making you feel. And most importantly, be patient in the process of reinventing yourself, because we are a society that wants fast results. We want instant results. So if we put in work, we want to see the results right now. That's not how life works sometimes. The bigger your manifestations, the bigger things you want in life, it's going to take some time. It's not like the change is not happening. Sometimes we're not able to physically see the change. And I always think about a bamboo tree in this kind of scenario, because when you plant a bamboo tree, it takes like 5 years to actually see the bamboo sprout right out of the soil. In those 5 years, the bamboo seed is creating roots, deep roots, strong roots in the ground, so that when it becomes a strong bamboo tree, it's not going to collapse, it's not going to fall, it's not going to be pushed down. It's creating strong roots so that it can be a strong tree. That's how I try to look at any risk I take in life, any opportunities, any new projects that I take on. I think about it in in that sense of a bamboo tree is that I'm not going to see the results right away. I have to be patient, and I have to be patient with what comes up in that time. And there will be challenges. There will be things that make me second guess myself, because right now I do feel sometimes the self-doubt, like coming back to New York and everyone's asking me these questions about the future. It does make me kind of second guess my journey. But that fear that I'm feeling, it's not debilitating. It's actually really healthy to have that fear, experience that fear, and then allow that fear to pass through me. That's what I learned about dealing with emotions, is that you don't repress any emotion, whether it's fear, anger, any negative emotions that we've been taught that is not healthy to feel. No, it's actually really healthy to feel these negative emotions and then let it pass through. How am I dealing with myself in those moments? Am I being compassionate to myself? Am I being kind to myself? How am I comforting myself? In those moments, that's when I can actually see how I'm changing. How am I evolving? How am I transforming? That's when I can physically see just simply the way that I'm consoling myself, that I can see the transformation in myself. And so my intent was simply to just create a video to reassure people that it's okay to take that risk and reinvent yourself and make the choice in wanting to change and change your life, and that it's okay and that you should embrace it. Don't let the fear of others influence your choices and your decisions on moving forward in your life, especially when they're so out there, when they're so unconventional, when you're choosing to take a completely different route in your life that's so outside the norm for the people in your community, in your friend circle, in your family. Don't let the fear that they're projecting onto you stray you away from your path, because if you're starting to feel that buzz in your body, in your mind, in your heart and soul that's telling you it's time for a change, flow with it, because that means that you might have a purpose here, and your purpose can be something really great. And the people who actually build something really amazing in our world, they're the people who went outside the norm. They're the people that we call crazy. They're the people that were absolutely insane because they went outside the norm. So don't be afraid of taking that chance on yourself and choosing to reinvent yourself. I hope that this video is of value to you and provides you with some sort of inspiration. I'm going through those motions right now, just reinventing myself and changing my entire lifestyle. I absolutely do feel fear, but I feel so much more drive and motivation to see my potential through, and that outweighs the feelings of fear and self-doubt and any negative feelings that I can possibly have. And I hope that you too can get to that place, especially if you're looking to reinvent yourself and change your lifestyle. I would love to know your thoughts on this video. Comment below and thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you guys at my next video. Bye.